And also, could you please share Consuela as well? I've been trying to Google it and
Consuela is just a Latinx cleaning woman who happens to be of service to us in our homes. That's all. Just a cleaning lady.
Just we got a cleaning crew that cleans your house.
That's all.
oh, I thought it was like a
Yeah.
type of liquor drink or something.
Oh my god.
I'm like, yo, literally, I put myself on mute. I was like, hey Siri, what is Consuela?
AJ, this is it right here. This is the front. This is the front. This is the front of the pod.
I'm like,
Yo,
because James,
are you
I'm like,
serious?
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
You now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
to the Juxtaposition Podcast.
I can let that play all day. Welcome to episode 68 of the Juxtaposition Podcast, aka the Extraordinary Nobodies, aka the Start Five, aka the Five Heartbeats, aka Four Hubbies in the Possible. I am your host, Varstenio Hall. My fault. I forgot the Positivity Podcast. We added that this season. And we are back, and we have a special guest, aka returning guest, aka a co-host. James is back, everybody. James is
Special
back.
guest.
Hey,
Welcome
I'm back.
I know
You should've
they
played
switched
that.
that
Back,
up
good
to,
brother.
there's no more four hubbies in the but I was like three hubbies in the possible now. I know that's what y'all was doing. It's okay though. I'm back. I'm back. Baby.
Nah, you James, aka I'm the Pappy. You have not been on the pod since you've been a father, so congratulations formally.
Damn, it's been that long.
Yeah, bro.
Shit,
Yeah.
don't even feel like that long, bro.
Your daughter in
That's
college already. It's been 17 years since you've been on the
Word
pod. That's crazy.
crazy. Yo, but like, see, like on the right, some like really, like she's 5 months old now. Shit,
Sheesh.
Yeah, man.
that's wild. That's crazy.
Me and Zoe got a chance.
Happens fast.
Me and Zoe got a chance to see Chloe in person this weekend. She's beautiful. Got James's face and a whole full head of hair. So congratulations to you and Jess again, man.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
baby.
I am definitely the father.
No,
You ain't
That's for
lying.
sure.
no doubt. No
No
doubt.
denying it.
And we got Pope and Poppy in the building.
What's up? What's up? Hallelujah, everyone. Good to be
Good old
here.
hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Good to
First
see my
hallelujah of
brother
the
James
season.
back. Yeah, man. Good to see my brother James back, man.
Good to
I'm
be
excited.
back, bros.
I'm excited. One day we'll have a whole starting five back.
Yeah.
Very soon. Soon come. I had a whole different song that I was gonna play as like like, all right, we're back. The fabric is back. And I can't play it now because James is here this week and Kev will be back soon. So like it just spoiled the whole sport my rollout. But I'm happy that you to have James back.
Yes.
And we got CEO.
Yo,
CEO. What's goody?
was good in the hood. Good and glad to have brother MoneyBagg Yo back. You know what I'm saying? Can't
Exactly.
wait
Just
till
made
we
the
get
show
out.
richer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I ain't got no
the full roster back.
Just added value to
I
the
wish.
show.
Now I go back to really being the poorest Negro on the pod. Like,
net worth is up.
facts.
Listen, man.
Achieving
That child
goals.
takes all the money. She doesn't take all your money.
I was in your house and I seen Consuela, so I'm not sure how much money she
Hey,
takes.
hey,
Consuela.
hey,
Consuela.
hey.
But
Nobody
I mean, I
need to know
guess
about that.
we just we'll start here. We'll get into the topic. But unfortunately, I had to travel to New Jersey this past weekend. For the funeral of our frat brother that passed. But it was fortunate in that I got the chance to see James, Zoe, and a whole host of other brothers. But the highlight was me getting a chance to spend time with James, and so we spent like 3-4 hours together after the funeral, just kicking it, chilling,
Yeah, something like that.
talking about growing up
It was
stuff.
a good time. Yeah, it was a good
Yeah.
time. Nostalgia,
James, I don't know if you know. After that, we went to Zoe's house. Zoe hopped on the grill. I went to his house. I fell asleep. Like I
Yeah.
needed like a 50, not an hour. I needed a 50-minute nap. Like I was watching Zoe grill, just falling asleep. Like what is happening to me? I don't know what's going on.
See, the thing is, I wanted to take a nap too, but unfortunately, I have a daughter. I couldn't go to sleep. I wanted to so bad.
Oh, so that was you channeling that she needed to take a nap, and I was the vessel by which the nap happened.
basically. That's what it was. I wanted to take a little nappy nap because Zoe had me up at like 5:15 in the morning to work out.
That's right. Get it.
I was like,
get
damn,
busy,
I'm trying to
baby.
get a little nap, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, we had
Nah.
that boxing workout is killer though. I ain't gonna lie. It gets you nice and energized through the day, take your shower. But then when you crash, you
Yeah,
crash.
boy.
Dang, man. How's the baby sleeping? Sleeping through the night or not
So
quite?
now she's sleeping through the night more times than not. So it was like once here and there, but now it's a lot more. So like we'll try to get her to sleep by 9, and she'll sleep till about 6.
Nice.
So
Is that good?
We appreciate
Is that good, fathers? Is that good? 9 to
It's,
6. Is that
bro,
good?
if you can get that many straight hours of sleep and before a year old, that's a win, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a
and
win.
plus I'm up like during the week. I'm up at 5 anyway. So if as long as she can stay asleep till 5, it's good to go.
Yeah.
So if she
I'll
up
get
at
that
6,
one.
that's my wife. now.
Listen,
Like, she
I
got
don't
that.
think Chloe would have a problem sleeping because her genetic makeup from her father loves to sleep. So I think
Listen, man,
she's in
you'll
good
stay.
hands.
You can't stay youthful if you don't sleep. You gotta get your sleep in.
There you go.
I guess
Sleep
so,
is
yeah.
that. Listen, I know how people be like,
That's
oh,
a theory.
sleep is just the second to death or the cousin to death. What that? No, man, you sleep. You
He
need
said
sleep.
something.
Get your sleep.
Now it's very important. It keeps you healthy too. It
No,
does keep you
I'm
from,
serious. Like
getting
all
sick,
that,
for sure.
like you only need 2 hours of sleep a day. Nah,
Nah.
bro.
Nah, that's
Every,
That
wild.
ain't real
I
life.
agree with you though, because every time I've gotten sick, I've always like, yo, I probably slept less. Like that week
Yeah.
I hadn't slept, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my god, I feel like crap.
What
You
I
need to
really
sleep.
need, I need the real deal. Here's how you live and don't age like milk list. Because we have so many conflicting things like, yo, do this, do that. And I told y'all like maybe many episodes ago about my first American betrayal was when they said that milk was good for you. So I don't know what to trust these days. You know what I mean? It's just what works and what doesn't work.
Yo, I think the only thing that can be true is that it's different for everybody, bro. Like that like genetic diet and genetic workout strategies, I feel like that has to be real. Because you got two people that do the exact same things, and one person can be really healthy and the other person can be not. Like it has to be like an individual thing.
I mean, that's true. My sister gave birth to 2 kids and has a 6 pack after 3 weeks after her second daughter was over. Me, I haven't seen a 6 pack since I don't know. Did I ever have one? Who actually knows? So, same household, same parents, different circumstances.
Completely different.
Who actually knows? But let's dive into what we're going to be speaking to now, and it's going to be talking about house business. Whose business is it to know anything about the house? What's too much? How much do you share? And this is a really great topic because we've been focusing a lot on relationships, but something that we haven't talked about is a lot of the downfalls of relationships could possibly be hearsay. You know, there's an issue within a relationship, maybe early in our lives. There's an issue in the relationship. She told somebody, he told somebody, they got back to somebody else. Boom, turmoil in your own home. So let's dive into that. So Cleveland, I'm going to start with you. What do you think is considered house business? The stuff that stays within the crib and cannot leave.
Anything that's like that exposes like a vulnerability between one person and another. I was struggling with that word, but yeah, man. Anything that like makes the other person vulnerable. Like if you know that like this makes my significant other vulnerable, I wouldn't recommend sharing that with anyone outside of your relationship unless it's in like some kind of secure therapy session or something like that. But yeah, man, like no exposing intimate vulnerabilities, I would say.
All right,
Anything that falls in that category.
before we continue, let's draw a line in the sand because I want to make it clear. Whenever you're like, we can talk about before marriage, right? And then we can talk about post marriage. So let's stick first with before marriage.
AM
let's
and PM.
AM and PM, right? AM and PM. So let's talk about before marriage, right? So did you all deal with women that had a lot of quote close friends? And if you can't see me, I got the air quotes, close friends who you felt like they confided in, maybe to your liking or maybe not to your liking. So how about you?
Not really. I think I don't know, maybe it's just me or my theory, but I feel like a lot of women, not a lot, but I guess maybe the ones I dealt with, they didn't share certain things with their friends because they have that like they don't trust their friends. Maybe like you don't tell too much because then like you'll go after my man. I don't know. I just thought because it would be times where I used to ask like other like past significant others like you don't talk to your friends like because I know how we are as a group and we're still like this. But I used to ask like. Ask your girl, like I bet, or you know what I'm saying, and by me having to say that tells me y'all don't be talking about nothing.
I feel that. I feel that. I ain't gonna lie. I used to like being the talk of the town when I was single. Yeah, talk about me.
Not me, buddy.
Nah, I didn't mind.
So I feel like it had to happen though. So I feel like that might have been a little bit of gas. Like, no, I'll to you. I'll talk to my friends. I feel like they were probably saying they weren't saying something.
I think by the time they were talking to me, by the time they were talking about me to their friends, the relationship was probably already over and they was talking shit. Like, fuck that nigga. I don't care. Yada, yada. I don't know of any ex of mine that actually talked to their friends with positivity about me.
I mean, it don't got to be an ex. Could have just been anybody.
Girl, like, I don't know. I don't think so. Not in a positive way.
I feel like the rule of thumb is if they got friends, they talk about you.
I guess.
I guess that's you should assume that at least. You should at least assume it.
Where that rule written at? I ain't never seen it on no billboard.
In what way though? Like I don't like. I would like.
Good or bad, you should assume that they having a conversation.
Okay, yeah, I think so. Just mine on the bad side. I don't think mine was good.
All right, let's get raunchy with it. Let's just go right to the source, right? When you meet a girl and y'all have y'all first rendezvous, you don't think she hitting the group chat?
Absolutely.
Right.
That absolutely.
It depends on the girl because how good it was. They don't want. They know chicks will slide in.
No. But you said first date. Damn, everybody give it up on first date. You talk
Wow,
about
my fault.
Like, this
my fault.
Like...
First encounter.
The first experience.
Yo, bro, that's the thing. Like, let's just say, for example, you meet someone online. I'm not saying that's what happens, but just an example. Bro, like one of the things, while you're on the damn date, they'll be like, "Oh, he ugly as hell," or like that's just what they do. But I'm saying that's normal. Even if you meet somebody and like, let's say you y'all met at a club or at a bookstore or whatever, and y'all go on a first date, any little thing you do that the person don't like, I guarantee that's in their group chat of the close friends. Like, oh, his breath stink. Oh, like what just happened?
Or asking for approval, approval. Like, how do you measure up to? I get that.
But see, James proved my point with the negative shit. He put like it's not like.
Well, it could be positive too. I just said the negative stuff. They could be like, "Wow, you should have seen the car he pulled up in." Like, "Oh, he got an MX Platinum."
This
like,
is why.
When he paid, like, it could be anything.
This is why James is back on the show because this is James' experiences.
Yeah,
right. Like, look at the car he pulled.
Because
he talking about Amex Platinum. Bitch,
you don't look at Amex Platinum.
You had an Amex Platinum before you got married.
No, but that's what I mean. That's the whole point of it. You're young and you got these type of things. It's like, oh wow.
Well, that ain't us, nigga. That wasn't us. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
I was like, mine was like, wow, he got a bed. He got a whole bed, girl. He got a bed, girl.
Fridge
got his own place. Fridge got juice in there.
That's why we needed the wealth back on the show. I appreciate James.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We needed that wealth.
The wealth on the show.
I'm just giving examples. That's all I'm doing. Is just giving
examples. He got a fireplace that don't work, but he got one though. That was me.
Got one. It was
listen. When my time was looking at the car he rolling up in, I was also rolling up windows and rolling them shits down. Okay.
Nah, James, just Saturn was hard. Like it was fired, but it also had like a third door, so that was wealth too. So
that was not.
That was wealth.
That was not wealth.
You get the shit,
bro. That shit like it was like not supposed to be there. Someone kind of did like a little aftermarket supply on a third door.
But how many coupes you know that had more than two doors? Yours. That was it.
Yeah.
Yo, talking about, you see how he tried to downplay, talk about aftermarket? No, nigga, it was limited edition. That's what Don't play yourself. You ain't cool.
I used to pop it open from the driver's side, like, hold up. Pop it open. And people like, wait, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, don't trip. Slide in, don't trip.
Like, slide in, close
slide
the
in while I slide in. That was
and you know who used to slide in? Her friends, the one that was talking about James after he dropped her off.
Oh, nah. Nah, nobody driving. I ain't driving no friends around. They ain't happening.
You wasn't giving no friends rides homes?
Nah, we ain't.
Rides
we
homes?
keep it
What the fuck
cordial.
is that?
Keep it all cordial.
Rides
They
homes.
they ain't have ride shares back then.
No.
Yes, it was. Yes, it did. I was a part of them.
Group chats, bro. Like group chats is fairly new.
What?
Group
BBM?
chats are
You
fairly
too crazy.
Well, BBM.
The
okay.
BBM Messenger was popping,
BBM
bro.
was real.
forgot.
That
So
was
let's
real.
ask this:
That was
do you think girls was hit? All right, so for our time, and we were dating ourselves to all the.
This
youngins,
is our
but-
time. This is our
Yes.
time right now.
No, I'm saying when the group when we talk about we still on PM pre-marriage, right?
Okay.
So, pre-marriage was the girls hitting the BBM Messenger? Was they going to the
Yeah.
game?
They was hitting the AOL Messenger.
Yo, they got what was that
wow.
called? What was it? BBM pin? What was it?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
pin.
you had,
Yeah.
it,
What was
it
the
was
pin?
pretty much like a
Yo,
QR
yo,
code
yeah.
before QR code.
Posting that on their social media, like hit my BBM.
Yep.
So
I
that
mean,
was
I wasn't
definitely
gonna
popular.
I wasn't gonna throw this card out so soon, but when I was single, the first couple fucks, I'm fucking for the group chat.
What you mean? Oh,
Not
as
me.
far as the intensity and the energy. Oh,
I
absolutely.
ain't even
Making
care.
sure making sure I assert myself, because at a certain point I was dealing with women who either knew it was like through a relationship, mutual friends, or we met through somebody else. There's no denying that nigga right there. Now he's good.
Well, yo, I
You
agree
know
with you
what it
because
is?
hold
when
on, I agree.
When you were
Go ahead.
single though, hold on. When you were single, Var, like the age. So I'm thinking of the age. Like when I was 20, 21, I didn't care about none of that. 22, like, but when you like 25, 26, 27, and you might be single around
Yep.
that time, I understand that part. But I'm thinking when I was single at 20, I could care
Oh,
less what
nah.
anybody said. Like, what?
No. It was barely
You let me
Facebook
get
at
it?
that
You
point.
let me get it? Yeah, all right, cool. That's all like. So
Well,
I get what you were
will-
saying
I
by
will
saying by.
co-sign. I'll co-sign VAR because in that aspect, because there was a time frame where VAR and I did hang together, and we did know our name would be circulating.
Absolutely.
And I had to, like he said, like it's like when you first step on the court in a town that you ain't from, or your first YMCA, you gotta
or they
go
heard
hard.
about you. Or the worst thing is when they heard about you. Like they don't even not sexually, but like, oh, that's so and so from next town over, and you come on the court and you lay an egg. You can't go back to that town no more.
Yeah,
Or you can't
yeah.
talk shit no more. Like I'm nice in basketball. Are you?
Yeah.
We
So,
see you, nigga. We
Yeah,
put
the-
eyes on you.
the same applies with the girls in the group, like that's true.
So getting back to the pre-marriage sharing of information, let's talk about pre-marriage relationships though, right? Pre-marriage relationships, were you in spaces where you felt like were you ever in a space where you felt like a woman overshared information between y'all two? Where you're like, why did you say that? Like what would make you feel like I'm okay with that being shared?
Yeah.
Like sharing like stuff about you to like their friends or something like that.
Yeah, or
I feel like
y'all.
I never
You or y'all as a couple.
gotcha. I mean, I feel like I never like found out, so I don't really know because it might have happened, right? They could be like, oh, I don't want to be with this nigga no more. Like,
That's
I
crazy.
don't know
What I
that
said
ever
beginning.
happened. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but that's a
Those
possibility. You never
theories-
know what could be.
Those theories being proven true. Only things that are shared are negative.
Yeah, I mean,
Bad
it's
news,
usually, like,
bad news travels faster than good news.
because good news
That's a
is like
fact.
why am I sharing good news? It's almost like you're gloating if you have like this great relationship and you want to share that, especially if your friend is single or in a bad relationship. You're not gonna really share that good news.
You
But
know
if it's
what?
bad news,
You know
people
what?
can always sympathize or empathize with it.
I'm coming to a conclusion too. All of the good news that's being shared is all sexual, in my
No.
mind.
Not
Nah.
all. I won't say all,
Nah,
but
yo,
a
you know
majority
what?
of it.
To James's point around, you don't want to gloat. Everything else is my man's got a job making X amount of dollars, or he taking me here, he bought me this. All of the other examples could also be like, look at me, right? Prove me wrong.
You know,
Let's
social
argue.
media
Sometimes it's like that.
wasn't that big back then, right? So when
Right.
it comes to actually showcasing what your significant other does for you,
It was
you now
limited.
have to physically, well, back then you had to tell people, right? But you only telling like maybe one or two now, right? When we'll
Telling
get to like Postman and stuff
thousands.
like that, now is you just hit a post, and depending on how many posts you put out there, will dictate whether or not someone think you talking about it too much. Or not.
Yeah.
See, like my experience was a little different because I didn't really start dating dating until I was like in my mid to late 20s. Like I was in a situationship for like most of my early 20s into like my mid 20s, and like my mid to late 20s is when I started dating. So social media was like a major thing, and it was like to share or not to share, to post or not to post. Like you ain't really want
Okay,
to
I
click up
remember.
too soon.
I remember what you were talking about. But
Yeah,
you
you know
had,
what I'm saying?
but you had a person that wanted to that leveled the validity of your relationship based on how much y'all posted, right?
Oh yeah, and that's where I was going with it. Like, so
Yeah.
it was like it was weird because like the information that would be shared, positive information would be via social media, but I wouldn't get that same energy when she was talking to her friends like about me. Like it would always be, it was weird. Like she wouldn't want to like share positive things about me to her friends. I don't know if she thought like maybe her friends. To Zoe made kind of a valid point. I don't know if she felt like if I share this with my friend might get interested. You know what I'm saying? I don't know,
That's so
but
petty.
I mean, that's wild. Like if you
It's not
think
as
that,
wild
why
as
are
you
y'all
think.
friends?
Listen.
Why are
Let
y'all
me
like
let me
that's
say,
just wild.
James.
That's
Hold on,
I
Cleo. I'm gonna let
cannot
you
fathom
finish.
that.
Chris Rock said it. You know, that's my favorite comedian, and I always reference him. But he always say, "Yo," he said, "Guys, a guy will bring their girlfriend around." And they be like, dang, you know, she got a sister, yo, she got a
Yeah.
cousin friend, I gotta give me one like her. He said girls will bring their men around, and the other girls be like, yo, I gotta get him.
I need this one. This is
That
the only
that's
one left
one
on the
wild.
shelf. I want
Yeah.
him. This is blowing my mind. First of all, I feel like 22 minutes in, we already need another Ask Jux episode to kind of discuss this because I want women's perspective of why they don't share shit outside of the bad stuff. Because
Well, I
our
think
experience. Go ahead.
my fault. Boy, I didn't mean to do that. Again, this is me getting back in the pod.
Welcome back.
So I, yeah,
James
I
stealing
just
James
caught that. I
stealing the
just
ball
caught
on
that.
the
Yeah,
court.
yeah,
Put
yeah.
up like 50 shots on
I just
Nah,
caught that. I
bro.
caught that. I was like,
nah.
damn, it's fucked up.
James ran into the crosswalk and was like, "Stop, cars!"
Damn, my bad, Bar. Go ahead, man. Go
No, no,
ahead.
no,
My
no, no,
fault.
no. It's about you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I forgot my thought after I said I fucked up. Go ahead, my bad.
So, in terms of, I'm really curious now about how this goes because when developing what the arc would be for this episode, me and Cleveland were talking, and I'm thinking the majority of the conversation is going to be about how we as men in our relationship how we share information, because we don't just share the bad stuff. We share like, yo, this girl is dope. This is what she did for me this weekend. Here's my birthday plans. She went above and beyond. She's a great mother. She's doing this. We share all those things. And even before marriage or engagement, it was still like, y'all fuck with her. Randomly. Kev talks about how he loves his wife all the time. Right? Like, same with Zoe, same with Cleveland, same with James. But it's like, is that same energy shifted over to women? Now I want to hold women to task. Like, why don't y'all share more about the good things that we do?
I would definitely love to hear the differences pre-marriage and post-marriage from a woman's perspective for sure, and what was shared, because it has to be different, bro. Like, because things open when you're married to a man. Like, I feel like my wife says a lot of nice things about me to her friends and to her family. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in my dating experiences, I didn't really experience that too much. I would hear like, "Oh, he's a good guy," but it would be no specifics unless it was on social media. I didn't even have, bro. I didn't even have a social. I didn't have an Instagram until I was in a relationship and we had gone out on a date. And she was so adamant about me having an Instagram that I created one literally on the date with her. Like, so it was like,
Only to share her.
no, she wasn't in the picture, but it was like you gotta put hashtag date night. Like, and I'm like, all right. Like, if you look at my first
That's
Instagram picture, I think
terrible.
it's still there.
What was the picture?
That's
Food?
what I would have had to say.
I was just
Okay, this is
walking.
gonna
It was
be
like
in my mind.
It was a classic
I'd have
look away.
shared.
Look away post.
I'd have shared with the group chat like, yeah, this is gonna be the last date I'm on, man. I could like that's just hard to like.
It ain't
That's
last too
hard to
long.
fathom, yo.
It ain't
But
last too
I
long.
think that when you think about, so even like just from, I'll give my perspective. So, and I'm thinking this from being younger. So when I'm younger, again, I referenced 20, 21, 22, right before I got into a relationship at 23. Like, so I'm sharing information. Most likely, it depends on whether or not I think there's going to be anything moving forward within this relationship from someone that I'm kicking with at the time. That's how I dictate what information that was being shared at the time. Now, you can always share anything. Yo, this was good, that was bad, whatever. But also, being young and dumb and being immature, you also share like, things that probably you shouldn't share as you get older, right? So it's like, oh my God, you should have seen this on her, or oh wow, she showed that. Those
let's take
nice.
a guess.
Like,
let's take a guess as to what this on her
is. What is
I'm
this?
trying not to be too crazy. Well,
Somebody look at this.
it. But you're not gonna share.
They seen it when y'all walked away.
But for example, like when I went on the first date with my now wife, and I came back and I was just like sharing like how dope she was. I was like, yo, she's completely different from any person I've ever actually dated. Like on the reaction, because most of the time you got women who, no matter what, like the guy is gonna pay for the date and they're going to do this and do that, and it's just like her conversations, and then she end up paying for the date because I go to the bathroom and come back and the bill is already paid, and I'm like,
with that Amex Platinum,
what is going on?
She was
Ain't nobody
giving
had cash. This is cash. You put cash out. We had no cards.
Yeah, ain't nobody had no cards at 22.
We had no cards. Giving cash out at the time.
That's why he was
Yo, but no, I was tight though. I was tight at that.
The props.
No, but I do remember James coming home because we lived together at that time, me, him, and Woody, and he did come in like elated. You know what I mean? Just
like I was like in awe.
I mean,
damn.
even when I heard the story the next day, he was the same energy was kept. It was like he was glowing.
Different.
He was glowing.
It was He said, nah. I had a little twinkle in my eye. I had a little bit. But no, I mean, so you kind of see what you share. But I think even if I was single,
right,
and I was a little bit older, maybe 26, 27, within a career, making a little more money, kind of just dating out there, seeing what's out there. I don't think at that time, I would share the same thing I shared when I was younger. So I would still share like, oh, it was a great conversation, right? Dinner was great, manners, blah, 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 but I wouldn't share any type of intimate details that might have happened within that day, if it happened.
See, James and Cleveland brought up two good points that gets us to our next question. Cleveland opened up talking about what's flagrant to him, which is the vulnerabilities. James mentioned that he probably would shift things and speak a little differently based on what he knows now. For y'all as men, what's off limits from being spoken about outside the house? What is absolutely off limits, topics-wise?
Anything emotional that I share, like any type of emotional, like deep conversation that I have, to me that's off limits unless I say it's game. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a clear, because to me, like for men, you know how like they say like men is like their emotions are their vulnerabilities, with women it's like more physical. Like vulnerability.
What is this book you're reading? You say we don't know. Where are you getting this information?
Well, maybe you don't agree. Maybe you don't agree. I feel
No. No, I don't.
All right, so
I never heard
like, it. Generally, they'll say like,
is this the Old Testament or the New Testament?
Sex means more is more of a sign of intimacy for a woman than it is for a man. Generally, it used to be. Like it used to be that like if a woman shares with you, that's like one of the most intimate things that they could share with them. But like for a man, it's like if I share my heart with you, that's
it's my bank account.
That I could share.
If I show you my bank account, I love you.
Yeah, but like I don't want that to be shared. Like because if I share something, an intimate detail about my emotions with you, and you share it with somebody else, that's like forced intimacy. It's like emotional rape, basically. Like you're telling somebody something that I did not allow you to say.
I agree. No, I agree with him because I feel like, and even when I do my sessions on like trying to get teams to understand the nuances between each other, you cannot take someone's vulnerability and leave. You can't do that. Like you can't. It has to be a information sharing, number one. But to Cleveland's point, you can't. Give me an example, Cleveland, because I want to make sure we make it real for people. Give me an example of something that you would share about a vulnerability to a potential partner, and then the information gets back to you.
Let's say I struggle with insecurity because I was called ugly all through middle school.
Okay.
Like you know what I'm saying? Because I was called ugly all through middle school, and I used to go home crying from middle school, right? Like that didn't happen to me. James looking like. Are you sure There is something right there. I saw his face.
I was waiting for somebody to peep me. James like
James was like, it's kind of too real.
James,
Too
I wouldn't
real.
have said all that, nigga. I ain't telling y'all that.
That example came quick. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Can't from the soul.
He gave him a virtual hug, like, yo.
So speaking of,
Shit.
that's crazy.
You know what? I got this thing. I had this friend. No, man. Like, I'm making it up. But like, let's say something like that happened. You share that moment. Like, I don't want you going to tell your friends or your cousins that. Like, and I shared that with you as a way of me being open towards you as my spouse, as my significant other.
Right.
Like, so don't tell Keisha. Like, she can't know that.
Damn.
I don't want Keisha to come to me like,
know,
you was ugly in middle school. Like,
Not so. All right, I got a question.
You look good today,
'cause they gonna throw it-
Cleveland.
If you ever, the thing you can't, reason why you can't tell people because they're gonna throw it in your face. Like that's why you was ugly in middle school.
See, that's what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
This is my question. Hold
you
on.
and Zoe think the same way.
Yeah, that was what I'm about to say. This is my question, right? So I feel like we wouldn't normally know what they share because if they a real ass friend, they're not gonna repeat that shit. They shouldn't repeat that shit to the person it's about, right? However, when I hear share like from the beginning of the topic, I hear like blowing up spots like while I'm sitting next to you. Like while we at the table, like remember that whole Kevin Hart, like now you got me sitting here like with the IE ass face. Like that shit, that's what I hear. Like when you telling me that, I'm hearing like we all whatever, and she say some shit that wait a minute, you wasn't supposed to say that, or I wasn't supposed to say that. Like,
But Zoe, we talked literally about 3 weeks ago where Alejandra didn't know the whole gas thing. You confided in Alejandra as the homie, and then she blew it up, and it's like, yo, my man, what are you doing? The same thing exists in relationships, right? Because if I tell you that I couldn't read till 16, and then like, and we be on the date,
coming out too easy. I'm trying to think of an example. I just like
Cleveland. I had one in the chamber when Cleveland said the ugly. I'm like, oh, can't read. That's a good one. I don't need you to tell Keisha that Var couldn't read. So it's like, who gonna? Oh, Var can't do this. So anyway, it'd be subtle. Like, nah, maybe you're not the one for this.
maybe you're not the one.
That's hamburger. Burger. Like, why you talking to me like that?
And it'd be on that ride home. You're like, oh shit.
So we telling Keisha that I can't read now. Huh? So I can't read good.
For the record, James, I could read at 16, but I was just giving a specific example for people if they couldn't.
And I wasn't called ugly in middle school, by the way. I was mad chubby though. I was mad.
I'm gonna be.
And I had big glasses.
Cleveland, I think
like
your time.
early days
I think
of
your time elapsed.
Did you hear the James just provided? I said I had big glasses. I was chubby. He said, well.
No. I was saying how like at that time because we old, like if you wore glasses, usually the glasses were big. That's just what it was.
They were,
at that
bro.
time.
It wasn't no nice frames back then.
That's what I was saying.
Not that like most people could afford.
Gucci frames back
Nah,
then.
not at all.
Cleveland
He was getting gold joints, and they was mad round.
He had the Cleveland air, not Cartier, Cleveland air. That's what he
Yeah,
had.
them joints was.
Damn.
Nah.
All right, so going back, right? So we're still in pre-marriage. We're gonna shift to post-marriage in a minute.
Okay.
But now I'm putting the mirror on us. This is gonna be the final pre-marriage question. Tell me about a time where you overshared information to your boys about situations with your lady or the lady that you were dealing with at the time.
Oh, okay.
And for the listeners, we're in a fraternity, so don't judge us for oversharing information.
Yeah, these
with each other.
things happen regularly. This is casual conversation for us. To be honest.
My overshare gonna be whack, so I start. But it is a funny story. But
You told the Lord.
I wouldn't even call this an overshare. I was texting my brother Zoe, and I said, I was like, basically I let him know that this relationship wasn't going nowhere. I'm like, yeah, it ain't going nowhere. I ain't thinking about marrying this girl, yada yada yada. So I'm at an event. It's actually a very important event in Zoe's life. I'm sleeping in the hotel room. I'm sleeping in the hotel room, and I woke up, and my phone is in this person's hand. And
Oh, wow.
the next thing I know, I got splashed. Bang. I'm half
What?
asleep because I was sharing that I wasn't interested in taking
Wait,
a relationship
you say
further
You got splashed like physically or like with
Water.
water?
with
Physically.
a drink in my
Oh.
face.
It was assault.
Nigga almost
I was
drowned.
assaulted.
It was a
I was
water.
assaulted.
It was a water.
Above
It wasn't
ground
water.
drowning.
It was vodka.
So, now
I
this
thought he
gonna
was
be
gonna
funny.
go with the
Hold
apart
on,
one
hold
of
on,
that
hold on.
shit.
No. What I was gonna say is Cleveland. I thought you were gonna say another thing about an overshare that happened in the moment.
Earlier that day.
at the
Earlier that
church?
day. No,
Oh,
we
was
was
that the
walking
church?
back to the hotel.
That wasn't overshare though. That was a preparation. That was
Nah,
like
yeah.
I'm preparing my friends for what's
Unnecessary
about to
overshare,
happen.
bro.
Yeah,
Yo.
we was walking back to the hotel.
Necessary. Y'all have
say
been
it?
shocked, bro. Stop. No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
Okay,
say it. Don't say it.
okay.
Nah, I'm
Nah,
not
we're
gonna
not
say
gonna
it.
say
It
it. We
I'm not
can't
gonna
say
say
it. We can't say
It
it.
was. Oh my God! Probably one of the best top 5 moments in the world.
Yes. That's what I
I
thought
don't
he
think that
was
was
gonna
an
say.
overshare though.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
I thought the topic was
'Cause
over
I'm like,
something,
yo,
but
it was like, yo, there's no need for that, man. Nobody would have been like,
Just like Gabe pulling up to us at Zoe's parents' house and was like, "Yo, my shape up fucked up." It's like,
oh Jesus Christ.
That was hilarious. No,
My
I
man
think it
had
was.
no bars.
Wait,
like,
wait,
like,
It was James'
like, it was
reaction.
gone. It
though.
was just like
Nah.
gone.
Bro,
he
it
was
was
trying
James.
to jump the gun because he knew we was gonna say something.
That's what he was trying to do.
you hear
But
James
James
say he ain't have no bars.
No bars. Bro. Like this. No, like that's what I mean. You can't like.
It was just an
like, 'cause
instrumental.
Listen, I cut my own hair from time to time, and I mess up, right? Because I'm not a professional barber. I watch some YouTube videos.
Oh my God!
But bro, I don't know what he did, and I hope Gabe watched this. Cause don't ever do that again. But like,
I think he
had,
learned his
like
lesson.
no, like the bar, like no bar. You know? Like
I
no,
didn't know
like,
this shit was called a
was
bar. I'm
just-
crying.
I don't know what it's
crying.
called, but it's just
But I-
straight down.
but
And
I
I
got
called
it.
it like, yo, it was
No.
gone.
Yo,
Like,
the best part about it though
His
is he
shape up just went around like it was like a. It
was
almost like a
bad.
bowl cut. It was
he,
bad.
he thought he was free and clear though. He thought he got ahead of it. Like he was like, "Yo, by the way, I messed up my haircut." And James' initial reaction was like, "Oh no, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool." Literally like 15 minutes later, out of nowhere, "Yo, what you do?" I'm like, "Oh, that's the worst feeling when you thought you got ahead of it. It was behind you."
Because it's like, all right, I messed it up. Like even recently for me, so I get a haircut every 2 weeks, right, on the schedule. I forgot my barber was going, or I should say our barber, whatever.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
forgot he was going out of town for his daughter cheerleading and stuff. So I pull up to the barbershop and he not there. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. And my anniversary was coming up, so I needed something. So I did my own joint like I normally do. I don't usually do too much. I try to get a little tape on the side just to make it look clean. And boy, I picked up the wrong guard and my taper ended up here somewhere.
Did you
That
even
is
it out?
bad.
crazy.
You got doing on the other
But
side.
I was just like, I did my best to try to make it look presentable, right? And then when I
Yeah.
went to the barbershop, he was like, yo, I see your taper ain't go so well this time, huh? I'm like, yeah, it was your fault because you're not here. But what I'm trying to say is that it happens. But, like, it was to the point where I was like, yo, how could that possibly happen from you cutting your hair, yo? Like, what did you possibly do to make it look like that?
So that's
That's
just a
why my
small
reaction was the way it
example. That's a
was.
small example of oversharing. But I want to get back to us
Yes.
oversharing in relationships. Cleveland shared his. He said it was whack. Zora James, tell me about a time where you probably told the bros a little bit too much before marriage.
I don't know if I ever.
We all did it.
Wait,
all got an
no.
example.
I'm saying I'm about to ask a question about the person I'm married to, or just somebody else.
No,
Okay,
pre-marriage altogether.
All right,
Like,
okay. I think I overshared something that wind up being an interesting topic for us, where it was like I overshared a sexual experience, I guess, with my fellas about said individual that we were all like, wait, what? Like that kind of deal. That probably was too much if that individual knew that I had shared that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Y'all think y'all know what I'm talking about?
I mean, there's a couple examples I can draw from.
Yeah, but
Damn.
you know, I've definitely shared a little bit.
James, that was uncalled for.
I
That
know,
was that
right?
dance was
Twice.
uncalled for.
Cleveland,
Okay,
first he
Kevin
hit you
Hart.
with the. Yo, look, I don't like this James coming back to the pod just
I
gunning there.
I
Like, hold
told you,
up.
he gunning for everybody now.
Nigga, like, I've been going, I gotta make up for lost time on y'all.
Exactly.
Nah,
Just make
but-
an interesting conversation. That's
Look,
all.
I've overshared. I think in that aspect, I do know I've had an experience though where someone else overshared something with me, and their exact phrase was, "Yo, if I marry this person, act like you never knew this shit. Erase this out your memory." They tried to hit me with the Men in Black joint, like,
Did they marry that person?
nah. Thank
Okay.
God. Thank God.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I was
But
like, whew.
I think it's like that. I've overshared with previous people, probably, I don't know, a tremendous amount. She's good at this. She's not good at this. Talking about before you made her my girlfriend, like what the sex was like, or how I feel about this person, like truly, right? Because sometimes you got to tell your boys to say like, am I tripping or do I feel like, right? So you kind of have to let your boys know how you feel sometimes. I've overshared a lot, but it was within the confines of what I think to be a safe space. The only way that I would know that it got out is if Alejandra told me because I told her. But that would be
Damn.
But if that didn't happen,
Forget about that.
So AJ, we need some type of clip where we throw Al name, especially when Var said it about the gas, just so she know we talk about her ass because she blew up my spot. And she owe me 5 minutes in the street for that. She owe me
But-
5 minutes.
James, how about you? Any times you can remember that stick out that like overshared before, you know what I mean? Back in your road trip days.
Overshare, I mean, yeah, I mean, probably. It's similar to what you were saying, Var. Probably just like, oh, it was like this or kind of like this happened. But for me, it was like I was never really in like too many serious situations. So it was just a matter of sharing of an experience that I had at that
True, because
particular
it's like
time.
fair game, right? Like if it's not
Yeah,
your
it wasn't-
girl, then
And
it's
it wasn't
like
even someone that we were really kicking it. It was just like at the time, this was just something that just happened. So I just sharing more of an experience than anything else. And maybe it might have just been too much. Like I said, that type of sharing probably wouldn't happen as I got older and more
Right.
mature.
right.
We just don't
right.
think like that. I'll tell you what I
No.
did do, Var. I overshared with one individual in the experience, and then a friend of ours went in for the same experience.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. I had that happen too.
Oh, what?
I had
Try that.
I had a situation where I walked in with something, right? And then one of my boys was like, "Who she with?" I was like, "She with me." He was like, "No, she ain't with you." I went over there, said something to her, and he was like, "Oh, maybe he is with her." And then about a couple months later, he tried to be with that person, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So you wanted to verify just to see if you can kind of get a one up on me. All right. And I ain't tell that nigga nothing. he just see me walk in with her.
Well, yeah, that's different. I think mine
That's
was
different.
like we confided in
No,
the,
it
you know what
is.
I mean, in
Yeah.
the group, and then I didn't feel no way because I didn't care emotionally attached to the individual, but I just we laughed about it like, oh shoot, and how sometimes sharing can point other people in that direction. And I think
Yeah.
that's what girls are afraid of sometimes. That's what Cleveland and I mentioned earlier.
Afraid of being pigeonholed into whatever
No,
experience.
that their friend is going to do that. Like we don't care if
Oh.
we're not emotionally into it, and we have that communication. Like, yeah, that's not my girl. That's not nothing. It was just an experience, and then you go
Right.
do it. I'm not going to be like, damn, blah, blah, blah. Like I said what I said, and it was just that.
Right.
And so we don't. Our emotional aspect with it is not as serious, but I think, and hopefully, like you said, we have another Ask Jux where women can confirm or deny that they withhold sharing certain stuff, especially when it comes to their sexual experience, because they don't want their friends to go and try it as well.
Well, two things.
That's wild if that's the case, bro. I really,
Hold on,
I don't
James.
think so, but
Hold on. We're going to make an official plug right now. So I want y'all to chime in. We're going to make this a clip. All right. This is going to be the official ask to women to come on the pod and talk about why they don't tell the good shit in a relationship. You ready? Okay.
go.
Ladies, we are inviting you on the podcast to have another Ask Jux episode to speak about why don't y'all share the good things that happen in your relationship? Is it because you think that somebody's going to try to take that good thing from you? Is it because you just want to share the bad things? Fellas, anything else you want to chime in on?
my theory is you do share the good stuff, and it's not just the bad stuff. I have faith in women. I think
What else? We got a
Sell
minute.
out.
Go ahead.
He's a sellout.
Zoe and Cleveland, add Jules. We got a
I
minute
never
total.
say
This is gonna be a
James,
clip.
James just Clarence Thomas us.
Nah, yeah, no. I want to understand if that's true or not. Like, I think, or is it that we just don't hear it? You know,
All right,
is it
boom.
that we don't hear back?
Yeah, women,
Ladies.
women.
Jesus Christ. Y'all don't
Girl.
understand what a minute is.
My bad. Ladies, women, girls. I want to know. Yeah, do you or do you not?
So yeah, I'm really interested in to see what comes of that, because Zoe, you made a great point from like minute one. I don't really know what be going on, but let's make it a hard left and shift to, for me, engagement, for y'all, marriage. Do your wives have friends that are like Ace Booms?
Yeah, y'all.
Absolutely.
yes.
Like my wife's like, I would say Ace is probably Mrs. Endy, like, because we right here, like they talk often, and that is married. And her friend that was just over this weekend, Var, when you was here, that's
Right.
her other right hand man, I would say.
Okay. All right. So check. Your wives have more than one. You would say 2 or 3, like
Definitely more than
confidant.
As a team, kind of like how we are a team, like a little squad.
Okay. All right. So, are you privy to any information that your wife may be sharing with said friends?
Some.
Some.
Yes.
Okay. And so, I mean, James, you've been together for more than a decade, but y'all been married since 2016.
2017, right?
It's 4 years ago.
28.
So
Whatever that
18.
was.
18.
2018.
It was a year before Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Damn, that's crazy. All right. And Zoe, you've been in for a dime almost as well, but been married since 14.
Yeah, 2014 I got married. So we
Right.
pulling up
So you
on
got
8
about
years.
8, coming up on 8, right?
Yeah.
In Cleveland, you are 2.
2019. So coming up on 3.
Coming up on 3. All right, so that's substantial time post marriage in terms of what have you heard? Have you heard anything that is like flagrant? Like, haha, no, we are not doing this. Tell Keisha to unlearn that shit. And have y'all had those experiences where you had to like reevaluate boundaries with wifey about what can leave the house?
We've had those conversations. Nothing has been like OD. For me, I don't like to dive into a conversation before I'm ready to have the conversation with other people. Like, that was like our biggest thing. It's like, it's not like some kind of crazy information. It's just that sometimes I don't like to dig deep into conversations with other people just yet. I want to like let it sit. I want us to talk about it for a little bit longer before we start sharing it out. So that's the only thing that my wife and I had to have a conversation about, and vice versa. Like, she may not be comfortable with me sharing certain details until it reaches a certain point, and then she'll be comfortable with it. So we had to figure that timing out with one another.
So it wasn't so much a incident, it was more of a proactive conversation.
Yeah. Well, no, there were incidents that led to the conversation. It was more reactive. So it was like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not really comfortable with sharing that kind of information out just yet. You know what I mean? I'd like for us to talk about that first before you share it out. And she said the same with me with another situation.
So James, she definitely told the friends that he didn't feel confident until like 26.
Yeah, right.
That I was made fun of in middle school.
Oh.
She told people.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's more like at this point is so if there's conversations that not supposed to leave the bedroom, if you will, then it's more implied at this point in time. Like, we don't really have conversations a matter of like, oh, you can't say this or don't say that. It's more implied, and you kind of just know. However, I think at this point, I mean, I have no idea if she's having conversations with her friends about whatever the case is going on in the house, because it's not like I'm privy to that conversation. So it could be happening. I have no idea. And I think that's really what the topic, not the topic, but that's kind of what happens, I think, for most of the time. Like, you may not know that these conversations are happening. And I think that's the whole point of having like friends. But I think there has to be some things, I would assume, that under no circumstance, no matter what, even if you need to talk this out somewhere, that doesn't leave the house.
What's that one thing for you, James?
For me?
What's the one thing that cannot leave the house? They know y'all rich already. Y'all have sex 'cause y'all have a baby. What else?
For me, like, one thing that can't leave the house?
Yeah. Consuela?
No.
I don't even want to talk. I'm the one who recommended Consuelo.
Yeah.
I got
have
one
any,
too.
Like, I don't have any like hard like.
Googling Consuela.
I
Cleveland.
don't know. I would assume like I don't know. I guess if I like actually become vulnerable about something that is like that I don't want anyone else to know, because it's not like I got anywhere like sexual fantasies that I don't want nobody to find out about or.
Nigga licking toes.
Yeah, like like you know what I mean. So I don't know. Honestly, there's nothing too weird.
You're not like Trick Daddy?
Nah, for the record, that was what James told Zoe in confidence, and Zoe just blew it up.
That is not true. James never told me that.
Yeah, came out,
That's not
sucking toes. Overshare.
I don't know why that just came. James, man,
I know why.
Like that Trick Daddy conversation. Remember when he was on Drink Chips, and he was talking about he said, "Yeah, I give my booty 8 or some shit like that." You don't remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Wow,
You know,
that's-
that's
that-
wild. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't have anything like that needs to stay in house. So I'm not really sure. I guess like, cause even if like I feel vulnerable about a situation, cause sometimes I feel like my wife maybe she don't know how to handle something, right? And she might need to ask someone or confide in a friend, like, oh, what do you think is the best situation for me to help
Phone
my
a
husband
friend.
out in this situation? Yeah. So for me, I don't have like honestly, there's not much that needs to absolutely 100% stay in house. Like for me, because there really is not much exciting about me. So that's probably why.
I mean, but everybody has insecurities or things you want to be kept at the crib. I know specifically, there have been relationships that I was in that I didn't feel very comfortable with my finances, that my partner didn't even know how much I made. Like, I'm not telling you.
Well, it's different when you married. Like, it's not really.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard
yeah.
to hide that when you buying houses.
You can't.
and-
You
yeah,
can't.
your shit is intermingled anyway. So
You can't.
I need to see that
Um,
pay stub.
yeah, because we got shit to do. Okay, we need to know where we at and what we doing. So let's put it on the table. I will say this for me. I'm a habitual line stepper with that, right?
Right.
I'm the one that's the open book. I'm the phone a friend. I'll do that. And I know for a fact my wife hates that shit about me and like, yo, this nigga always like, why you always gotta blow something up? Like, you know what I mean? But to
Right.
me, I would say what would be off track is like if you got descriptive, like if we talk parts or we talk like that stuff that just will never ever come out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it looked like this or it's this, like those things don't happen. But I would say like once you get married and you at a certain, like, I know James, and not to exclude you, but I know James and Cleveland I've had conversations with about marital certain things because they are married and they know, and James will be like, nah, I don't go through that, or Cleveland will be like, yeah, I understand, or vice versa. And you know, we've had conversations, and he'd be like, yo, say, or I'll call Chris, and Chris be like, oh yeah, because remember, Chris has been married for 11, he's the vet.
2010,
that's
right?
Yeah,
Or
he's
09.
my, 09, yep, 09.
Yeah.
So
Nah,
he's
not
my,
2010.
no, 2010.
2010.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
So he's my
I
phone
was
friend.
broke in 09 and 2010, so
It all mingled, it all merged.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2010. So, but I will call him, and because he's the experienced married guy, and I'll say something. He's like, "Oh yeah, welcome to the party or welcome to the club." It's not, but our wives take it on the chin because we'll collectively joke about it in front of each other at times too.
right, which
And
is
then-
uncommon though, for the record.
Yeah, we're not normal like that. A lot of people don't
Right,
do that.
it's
But-
uncommon.
They team up against me and Chris. You know what I'm saying? Or if, and I know Rashonda, if she was here, like, yeah, obviously we don't, because we're not in the same, but when she's here, she'll fly right in the mix and be like, with the girls, like, yeah, because she'll throw Cleveland under the bus quick, like, yeah, because he do that too, or something like that. Like,
Oh, what a safe space it is to be a part of the Eddie Doctor family.
oh yeah, you talk about niggas snoring
my
habits
wife-
and all.
Just get in where you fit
A lot
in.
of times my wife will say stuff, and I'll be like, "Yo, that's not like that didn't happen. What are you talking about?" Like, stop making stuff
You
up.
know what? You know what?
James do be getting mad.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, yo, she just made that up. Yo, don't listen to her. Y'all, she lying. James be like, she lying.
And she low key
Like, just-
convincing. You're like, damn,
Just
James.
mad, like just exaggerating the complete truth. Like, bro, stop it.
Well, getting deeper into this point. So all of y'all wives have friends that they confide in. Now, have you ever had a situation where your wife's friend had to confront you based on information that your wife told them?
Oh no.
Never.
Nah.
It can't be
And
allowed.
is that okay?
No.
Married people
Yeah,
understand
absolutely.
married rules. There's married unwritten rules. Like you just know.
Nah, y'all three are married, but that's not all rules, though. That's not all
Well,
rules.
it's supposed to.
Nah.
If it's a healthy
you're
marriage.
married, you cannot. Your friend has no authority, literally authority, to say anything or step into anything unless something physical is happening. If you're being mentally, verbally, physically abusive to your significant other, I get that.
That's true. Yeah.
Outside of that,
I'm gonna keep it
there
a
is
beam with
nothing
y'all.
that you need to do.
That is
to
a
say or
Corey
step up
rule.
in this.
That is a Beelan rule, and that is a Williams rule. That is not universal. Being real with y'all, if that was the case, then it wouldn't exist.
No, I
There
agree.
are-
I understand that it happens. I'm saying that it
Right.
shouldn't happen.
How
Like
long do
that's
those marriages
uncalled for
last?
because that's when you get put in your place and your feelings gonna get hurt.
And
Don't do
we're
that.
not gonna be friends
I
no more.
agree.
That's the end
Yeah,
of the
don't do
friendship.
that.
You just
Yeah, don't
dead
do
it
that.
because I'm gonna tell you can't hang with her.
Because
Don't
that
do
person, but also to be honest, there's even more. It can get even deeper because that person could be her sister.
No, it don't matter.
Nope,
Married,
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter.
My wife's sister.
Okay,
Does not
let's-
matter.
Let's
Period.
flip it. Let's flip it. Make sure y'all not hypocrites. Has there ever been a situation where your wife may have been suffering because of the actions of somebody else, like a family member or a
Nah.
friend?
Now, my put.
Yeah.
I've never
my
said.
family
I've said
members in
something to
place
them.
right away. Don't. What do you like?
Oh wait,
that-
wait,
absolutely
James answering
not.
a different question.
Wait, James.
No,
you mean
you
her
talking about
family or
if,
your
if
family?
my family says something to her to make
No,
her
no,
feel
no, no, no,
uncomfortable.
no,
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 yeah.
no. If your wife has been if you have to step in to say something about your wife's people because those people are making your wife feel away.
Absolutely.
Like-
I said it to her mom. What do you mean?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. That's my wife.
But do you see how
It's different
No, that's
though,
my wife.
because that's not
That's
the
my
marriage
wife, bro.
relationship.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
that is
threat.
my wife.
That's
Okay.
my wife. That's
Yo,
the
when you
threat.
when you get married, your wife is now you're literally your closest family member. As weird as that
Yes.
sounds,
right?
That's my
like
No, for
your wife
100%.
is your closest family member. So no other family member
No,
matters.
They don't care who it is,
And
Joe.
no
They're not doing
priority.
anything to my wife.
Nobody gets
Right.
priority over your wife. So it's like just like nobody from her side should come and say something to me about something that I'm not doing right. I would expect the same from my side of the family. Like nobody can come check my wife
Yeah,
about
like
something
at
that
all.
happens within in the relationship. However,
No. There's
Family
no
members,
checking.
though.
Listen to part 2, Cleveland. Go ahead. I mean,
I
Var,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, but like sometimes, like as a spouse, you may feel a need and may have a right in some cases to address something that their family member is doing to them. Like
No,
to
for
me, that's
sure.
different. To me, that's different.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, if X, Y, and Z person in your family is being foul and is doing this and is hurting you or disrespecting you in any way, you are my closest family member. So I don't care, brother, sister, uncle, whatever. Like, if I
Mother,
gotta talk to
father.
somebody,
Yeah.
yeah. If
Usually
I gotta
the
talk to
parents.
somebody, I gotta talk to somebody. Like, you know what I mean? You address it. You kind of you gotta approach
Respectfully.
that with tact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because they still care about that person, but at the same time, if it has to be addressed, it has to be addressed.
Yeah, and I wanted like so, Var, like what he's saying is like when we're
No. Hold on. So let's let the audience know. I'm asking questions.
yeah. So we
Yeah,
answer
no,
this question.
absolutely.
It's not how
We're
I
not
feel.
coming at you, Var.
Cleveland said. I mean,
No,
Zoe said.
I know you about to say. I didn't
Zoe
hit you no
said-
look or nothing. Or,
No. Zoe said so far.
Because I'm answering. You're the moderator. I'm talking to.
Marlon, don't attack me, man. Don't come at me.
James, you
I
gotta go
don't
back
know.
and you
I'm
gotta
just saying
go
what
back
you
and
wanna
listen.
know.
You gotta go back and listen to some episodes. Var was mad sensitive one episode. He was like, "Cleveland, why you looking at me like that?" I'm like, "Bro, I wasn't coming at you."
So James, I was talking about my orthodontic journey with these braces, and I was trying to let him know Cleveland had braces, right? Been there, done that. So he hit me with the "it's never too late."
I didn't do that though. That face, that's what he
He did
saw.
that. He was
but I
like,
didn't
Yo,
do that.
brother.
I meant. All right, well, no, I'm gonna get off topic, but I meant to ask. Like that was like your thing, though, bro. Like what
We said the
happened?
same
Like, why-
thing. That was the
That's what
statement.
y'all thought.
Yeah,
That's what
James.
y'all thought. That's what y'all thought.
We
That
thought
was
you,
a trademark.
No, you said that, bro.
I
I like
also
my
like-
gap.
mentioned that
I like
multiple
my gap.
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that I couldn't read till 16, but you don't see me. I learned how to read. I learned how to read. I had to get rid of it. It had to go. And Cleveland cute now.
Let's get back.
So
Let's get back. Let's get cute now.
Anyway, back to oh my god. Anyway, listen, Linda. But what Cleveland,
Jesus.
like what the public wants to know, like to answer the question that
so far, go ahead.
our moderator asked, right? The friend is exactly that, a friend, and
Right.
they don't have a right to come into your household, but any
Right.
other people that come into your
You heard that
household,
household?
Yeah. I'm doing what Zoe would do to y'all. Household.
anyway,
Cleveland, what was it? Season 1, Cleveland. What was the? I'm fucking up.
Process on the wrong syllable. What was it? It was the. I forget what it. I'm gonna think of it. No, go ahead, finish.
Anyway.
I gotta think of what it
No,
was.
it was meatballs.
Meatballs.
sorry, public, we falling out right now. This is
Meatballs.
yeah. Yo, Bar sniffing the Cali air, he laughing and shit. That's what happened.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think friends versus household. I would expect my wife, if I was stressing over something, to address those folks in my family that was getting on my damn nerves as well. Like, yo, y'all gotta chill out because it's affecting me and my household. And once y'all start entering my zone, it's a problem.
Yeah,
And I understand that, but I was interested to know because I've seen not marriages but relationships where love is blind is a matter of a friend stepping to. It's domestic violence though. The movie, I mean the song, not the TV
song.
show on Netflix, right? I don't even know you when I hit you, but there are times. This might not be marriage where there's information that has been shared before that person meets you and they have a perception about you.
That's why
Right.
you gotta be careful. Yeah.
And given the access that your partner provides to these people, whether it be historically or more current, the friend may feel like it's okay to step to you, even if your spouse didn't give them that license. Does that make sense? Like,
It makes sense.
Total sense.
It makes
But-
sense, but
Again,
it causes
I'm
issues.
saying, don't do it because.
But by the time you
you're
marry,
gonna
you
get
know
hurt.
that person.
And you're gonna feel
that's a Williams perspective. You gotta understand, Zoe, like
Who gets married and don't know their spouse's friends?
my fiance watches a show every Thursday called Married at First Sight. It is a
Jesus.
million people. But that aside, you have to look at the rates, right? Like I tell us, we're an anomaly. We're not the norm. We are called the Juxtaposition Podcast because we are in direct juxtaposition to how America sees us. Our experience isn't normal. It's not. Your marriages, your proposals, your households, your families aren't normal. 50% of the people in America get divorced, more than 50 now. So y'all can't make these blanket things and say this is how everybody is, because it's not. That's how y'all are.
Yeah, and
I
you know,
agree with
unfortunately, even good intentions can still be messed up. Like, let's say you're going back and forth with your wife about something, and she sees fit to tell her father, like, "Hey, I told my dad, and he wants to talk to you about this tomorrow." Right? It's like, well, nah. Like,
I'll be pissed.
Nah, it's not up to me to talk through our marital issues with your dad, or you to talk through our marital issues with my mother. Like, that's not anyone's place. My parents have always made it clear, and Rashonda's parents, our marriage is our marriage, period. That's y'all business. Like, whatever's going on between those two people in the marriage, that's going on between those two people in the marriage. It's so important to keep other people's opinions out. And try not to overshare, too. I think that's where oversharing comes back into it, because to your point, somebody said something about you. Now, this family member that doesn't even know you knows this one negative thing about you, and they have this whole perception of the type of person that you are. You know what I mean? And sometimes marriage is protecting people by not sharing certain details.
And the way that we play, and so I know you're going to resonate with this. There are some things that can't be unshared. Right, there are some things that just burned into the minds of people who you have told, where they don't forget. And there are people on the side of your partners who are like loyal ride or dies. Right? If I told Zoe a story about, I don't know, Tiff doing something flagrant, I might get over it, but he might not. You know what I mean?
I will never ever violate.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, but based on the topic,
based on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Other
Like,
people do. They don't have no boundaries, or they violate. They overstep their line. I
yep.
personally, and Cleveland can attest to this with previous relationships that he had, where I despised the individual, and I would like if she was walking across the street and I was driving, I wouldn't stop the car, like that type shit. But that person never know. To this day, they don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
it's not my place until he ready to push that button.
Well, final question on this topic, right? Now, y'all were very adamant about the perspective that you were saying that none of your wives' friends can come in times of turmoil. Can your wife's friends come to you in terms of when your wife needs more? There's a confidential conversation.
I'm not gonna
No,
say
it's
no.
not.
I'm
Listen, whether good or bad.
Hold on,
no.
let me finish.
Like,
Let me finish.
okay.
There are times there's a time where she has shared something with her friend, and her friend may say, "Well, did you tell James? What did James say about it?" And then she's like, "I didn't tell him." Right? That friend then calls you and was like, "Yo, here's the deal. I think you should probably ask her about this, or I think you should probably, whatever next steps are needed." Where do y'all stand on that?
No. Still the same answer. Because listen, like those are the things that give license to allow someone into your relationship. Period. That's the stepping stone to allow that person into your relationship, to offer their advice, to step up when they shouldn't. And even though it's good intentions, still is not your place. That is our relationship that we need to figure out. So if there is something that my wife and I need to discuss and is bothering her, she needs, like, we don't have a relationship then if she can't come to me to talk to me about something that's bothering her. Period. So no, it's not. It's up to her friend should convince her, you need to go talk to your husband about this. Period. That's what a friend should do. Not, oh, let me call him and say, oh, you need to have this conversation with her. No, that's not what it is. You have that conversation with your friend and you tell her you need to go have that conversation with your husband. And if that's someone that you confide in, then I'm pretty sure you'll take that advice. But you know what? I need to go do that. The friend should not go ahead and call the husband in at all.
Cleveland,
Period.
you look like you had a different. You look like you disagree. That's what your face told me.
No, I didn't disagree. I saw it as kind of like I don't want to comment just yet. I'm still processing my thoughts. At first, I was thinking like, man, what I want to know, like, if there was something that my wife needed more of, what I want to know that. But like, I was hearing James' point, and it was kind of molding what I was thinking because, yeah, it opens the door to more input from an outside entity. And once that door is open, the door is open. And you can't control, like, a good friend pushes two people together, doesn't try to interject to, connect them, like pushing from the outside in. Like,
I didn't have this example, but I have an example when you're finished that I thought about that could fit the description of somebody intervening. Two examples, but
Well, let me
go ahead,
think.
Zal.
So I agree with James on the detail of the question, right? So if my wife never told me, we got a problem. You feel
Right.
me? Like, because again, we're legally bounded. We signed the contract, and the fine print says you're supposed to just talk shit and get it over with, right? And if you can't come and talk to me about it, then that's violation number one. Now, if she did talk to me repeatedly, and I just seem to ignore, dismiss, or don't give a fuck, and then the friend is telling me like, yo, if you don't want to lose your shit, you might want to. I wouldn't take it personal. I wouldn't, because I would know that, damn, she did tell me she was serious. You see what I'm saying? I think there's a difference. If you never told me, but because I've been in a situation, not in my marriage, but previous relationship, where I've said the same thing to the person like 15,000 times, and I'm like, yo, maybe it's me, my voice. It's like when we talk about coach need to be fired because they're not listening to them no more. They're not hearing you. So I'm thinking like, well, you're not hearing me. Maybe if I say it to someone because if I got the problem with you're already dismissing what I'm saying because I'm the person you got the problem with. So maybe you do need to hear it from an outside source to say the same exact thing that I already said, but you don't have your guard up. You're actually listening. Right. I think in that case, I'm okay. I still would be a little taken back, being married. But if it was something where she told me and I just, again, I would know, like, damn, she did tell me that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So here's an example, and I'm not saying for y'all and y'all relationships, but I just thought about two examples. Number one, what kind of go hand in hand? The one I would say is if a couple is married and the wife decides to get an abortion and she didn't want to tell her guy, and she's got the thing scheduled, she's adamant, I'm not telling him. I'm not telling her. Her friend is like, you
Tell
are
them that
tripping.
she's even pregnant or that she's having.
Yep, none of it, right? That's a scenario where I can see somebody being like, all right, raising the hand, like, I don't want to do this, but I think you should, blah, blah, blah. Or
still in that situation,
I can see that,
go ahead.
Why are you getting an abortion if you're married?
bro, stop thinking about yourself. Like, look at the scenario.
But
I mean,
even
there's
like-
still though, like you got to go back to like I go then to that point is like okay, like
You shouldn't be.
if her mind is made up with that situation, her mind is clearly made up. Telling me is not changing that. What I would like to know.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm
No,
at.
but the
In
thing
terms of
is,
the
like-
information sharing. I'm cool with somebody interjecting and then being like, what? Because now there's a violation on multiple ends, and it might be something that this might be a space that I didn't provide. I may have fucked up. And it's a checking of me, less a checking of that person. And this leads to the next one. If there was a significant health scare that a wife may be experiencing, and they're like, yo, you gotta tell so-and-so for whatever reason, might be nervous, and if it gets to the point where she's having treatments without you knowing because she don't want to worry you or whatever, I can see a friend slide in and say, hey, you might need to,
But that's not a problem like between your marriage. So that's someone. That's a life and death situation.
No, I didn't
you know what
ask about a problem. I'm saying like is there ever a time
interjecting with that?
right on that behalf? If there ever
I'm
a
okay
time,
if it's a life or death, like if it's cancer or some shit, like, because I get how hard that would be for someone to tell. I would be like, not really upset, but like, why you didn't come to, you know, you could, you know what I mean? Like, but then a lot of times like you said, Var, the mirror has to go up. Like, am I making this person feel comfortable enough to tell me these things? What am I doing wrong that you didn't feel okay that you can come to me? You know what I mean? But that's an anomaly because dudes are not like that. We are the juxtaposition. We have mirrors in our house.
right? So Cleveland, I wanted to make sure I gave you. Did you feel like you got it?
Yeah. I mean, to me, those are like edge cases, and I think that they would actually go to show some other issue that's in
100%.
the marriage, like because you know what I mean. Like, my wife, if I went through something in my health, that'd be the first person I want to tell. Like that's like,
Right.
you know what I mean, like. Or vice versa. So like, yeah, I think that shows some other things that are going on within the marriage if that couldn't happen. And I absolutely would appreciate somebody telling me something to that effect. It's like the other smaller things where it's like, yo, this is our marriage. We gonna figure it out. I don't need you to tell me that I need to take her out on more dates. Like you don't know what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to hear that.
You know how tired I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I mean, there's so much more to unpack with this entire conversation, but we don't want to spend 2 more hours talking to y'all about it. So we're going to digress. Maybe we'll do a part 2. Maybe we'll have the ladies come on the conversation on the pod and talk about
I hope so.
these things. Would love to have some women talk about this. But until then, let's get into your favorite segment.
Hey yo, Zoe knows this, Zoe knows that. So light skin, Zoe stay black.
Yes, y'all.
And you
I just
don't
love
stop.
saying that. I don't know why.
You heard James ad-lib?
What, and you don't stop?
He said, I forgot about this.
Forgot about this.
Oh, so rude.
I'm telling you,
What
boy.
is these niggas on one today? God damn.
LeBron dunking on Friends, James dunking on Friends. It's the same thing.
Nigga think he Vince Carter in the game. Windmilling,
Exactly.
reversing. He
That
on
shit
get
just today.
This song was almost for James.
How do
Damn. Came back in the nick of time, boy.
Word up. James came back like my man from 5 Heartbeats. Eddie Kane.
Nights like this, I wish podcast would fall.
Anyway, so on the Zoe Knows, we got a couple weird things. First, I want to give a shout out to and RIP to our brother Maurice Johnson. Like Var stated in the beginning, we laid him to rest. It was an interesting weekend, very emotional, hard to see, but it was great to see all the other brothers that showed up. How many you would say? At least 40 of us, maybe.
At least we covered the whole church. I would venture to
I
say
thought it was
50.
more than 50. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah,
It
I
was,
think
I was
about
thinking
over 50
plus.
bros showed up. We did the ceremony. Everything was beautiful. So, shout out to the brothers that came out and supported, that showed love and support to the family. Next, I have on the news Chris Cuomo, who we all know got fired from CNN for, some say, with using his resources to help his brother out with some cases that was going on, is now filing a lawsuit for 125 million.
As he should.
Yep, for wrongful termination and disparaging his character. So, me personally, I sort of agree because it's different when it's his brother, it's family. Granted,
Right.
maybe there's rules, but his other CNN co-host, Don Lemon, helped out Jesse Smollett,
Smollett.
and sent him some texts, and Don Lemon still got a job. And that's just his friend. Cuomo's helping his actual blood brother. So
I mean, if we're keeping it real, we are amplifying the voice of the modern black man. That's their business. So Don
Well-
Lemon's safe to me.
well, yeah, I'm talking about the CNN, not what his relationship is with Smollett. Okay.
So,
Okay.
like, I agree with it, right? Because I, from what I know, right, he was helping out his brother. But is there more to it in the sense of did he use CNN resources to help his brother?
That's what they
Do
say.
we know that? So if he's using CNN resources, that's where the line has been crossed.
And I think it was people close to the case, like journalists, who maybe if he didn't work at CNN, he wouldn't know.
Yeah,
But
So
but that's
where
hard to
I think the line
prove.
was
Like,
crossed.
was I on
agree.
CNN time? Right? Was I
I
wearing a
agree.
CNN shirt? Did I
Is
have a
it-
CNN computer?
Yeah, is it CNN resources because we have like an affiliate company or something like that?
Right,
Like, you know what I
right.
mean? We don't really know the details, but morally, listen, I'm on the pod with y'all. I'm telling y'all, I don't care.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like that's
Facts.
just
I agree.
it
I
is
was like, yo, that's his brother. What do you want him to do? Like, that's his brother.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where's the more? I know there's ethics and morals, and sometimes they get intermingled and a little
F
messy.
these.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy. Then we had since we talk about weird allegations and all that good stuff, Deshaun Watson actually, the case I want to say it's still quote unquote pending, but they said it was going to be no criminal charges, so to speak, air quotes.
Yeah.
And he has actually, the minute that happened, been signed right to the Cleveland Browns. And they even gave him an extension because I think were they taking his other contract over? That was gonna be
I-
That was a
expiring?
trade.
I
Yeah,
don't
it was a
know.
trade. They traded. So when you trade, you taking over that contract, and then I think they might have extended him and gave him
They
even
did.
more money and more years. Yeah.
Yeah, so which I don't know if I would have did that, but they're like stamping on it, which is crazy.
Well, I
'cause-
think within the NFL, the reason why I think they did that is because they listen, man. They like the FBI. They already know what the deal is. Like they're not signing you with that money without actually talking to the NFL and getting all the details and like, all right, well, what is the outcome going to come from this? That's what it is. Okay, cool. So it's not going to be
But
much.
you-
We can go ahead and do this.
I don't know how much of this to be true, but if you remember, right around the time these allegations were tossed his way, he went out of Houston. Remember that?
I do.
Yes.
3 hours later, 22 sexual accounts.
Yeah.
Right. And none of them were federal. I mean, none of them were felony. They were all misdemeanor. So the NFL also has power. NFL teams have power to throw dirt on you. They can take dirt off. They can throw dirt on you to or you want to, because what was happening around that time? JJ Watt wanted out of Houston after Deshaun Watson. He got shifted over to Arizona. JJ Watt, good dude, right? White boy, corn-fed, big, like a favorite in America. Deshaun Watson wanted out. No, nigga.
you staying here.
What
That's
you think?
completely different.
What you think? And
That
then
whole thing
not-
was weird.
Not only did they say no nigga, but the cases now were revealed. it was like, oh, this is crazy. We watched it right before our very eyes.
Yeah, that was a conspiracy, but they also paid him his full salary for not playing one game.
Okay.
Because you're in contract,
they-
you're locked in.
No,
Yes,
they didn't have to pay him. Because they could have just said like he's not available to play, and therefore they don't have to pay him. They did a healthy scratch, like he was on the roster, he was healthy, but we're just not playing. We're not going to play him. Therefore, we still have to pay him. Pay him
Okay.
his full salary.
So he got half of a raw
So
deal.
James is team white man. Cool. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, it's like
gave
conspiracy
us
is like
the
I
business
get
answer.
it, but the conspiracy is like if I don't fall for one conspiracy, I can't fall for the other.
What's the first one?
Well,
Flat
like,
Earth?
you know, the whole. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the conspiracy of the vaccine being, you know, causing third eyes and nonsense, and or just
Oh.
in general, any conspiracy. I don't.
Yeah, James doesn't
I don't-
believe
I
in
don't-
conspiracy.
I mean,
I'm on the fence with racial conspiracy. I'm all in.
but this is not about Joe. This part is not Zoe knows. But you heard about the Chris Brown shit, right?
Oh, and that got exposed quick.
See, so
What's that?
these
Nah, I
things.
didn't hear
So
about that.
really
That was
quickly,
next
right?
on my list because I was
Chris-
going to know.
For real, all right, go ahead, do that, do that.
Conversation.
Shut up. Do
No,
that.
no, you can go ahead. I want to hear because you know I want to hear.
All right, boom. Snapshot. Chris Brown was charged with either sexual misconduct or sexual assault, right? From this woman that he met at a party, like an industry party. You know, when the headline came out, oh, Chris Brown is this and that. And every so often, maybe once every year, Chris Brown gets an allegation. They all fall off the wagon mysteriously, right? So people are just killing Chris Brown's credibility. So about 2 weeks ago, Chris Brown was recording his man with Chris Brown's real phone in his hand, and the woman who was accusing him was on record saying, "Call me back, please. You're the best dick I've ever had. I just want to talk." And she went on and on about how she's doing this to get his attention. Automatically, charges dropped. So there is a way to weaponize sexual allegations upon certain people in order to make them do what you want. So
I agree with that 100%. I mean, listen, when all these allegations come out, I'm not saying you can't blame, you can't believe the victim, but it's
Right.
just like when one after the other, I'm like, yo, like, okay, there might be something to this, but like, this is like a little weird right now. And I agree with all of that, but I just don't believe in a conspiracy where like the team has something to do with it. I just think that for me, where I took was the lawyer got overzealous and started just getting people to try
right.
to sue
That
and
worked
to
at the
give them
massage
money.
parlor.
Yeah,
Oh, you work
with them,
part-time?
exactly. Yeah.
Come on
Oh,
down.
he did this. Yeah, you know what? That can qualify. You can get this money.
That's that
And
class
then it-
action.
Yeah,
Right.
like that's what I took it. I don't think it was an overzealous lawyer trying to get more and more money out of the situation because he wouldn't settle. Like they wanted him to settle right away
get that.
and say that this won't even hit the public if you settle right now. And he
I get
said
it.
no, like fuck you. And
Which,
they-
by the way, with these class actions, that is actually illegal for lawyers to like go and
Recruit.
seek-
oh, it
Yeah,
is.
Right.
Yeah.
it
It
actually
is,
happened
but
to me, but not on no sexual.
lawyers
shit,
are
but, like, on my business.
lawyers can be scumbags. Lawyers can
Yeah.
be some terrible people at times.
So,
I mean, I seen Method Man on Power. I know how to get down.
him and Sacks,
Yeah, sex.
Sacks be fucking up.
Lawyers
But
can be
anyway,
very terrible people at times.
next I have on Zonos. We're gonna lighten up the mood with all this.
All right.
Did everybody hear Pusha T's new
Absolutely.
bar? I know you know, yo. And he was spitting bar, but I'm like, damn, why? Like, is we battle rapping McDonald's now? Like, what happened? Like,
Yo, son. You gotta catch the bar. Did y'all hear it?
I
No.
heard it.
I heard it.
when you sent it.
Hard. Hard.
It's been going all over the internet. Like, it's on Shade Room, it's on Baller, it's on mad different joints.
Yeah, like
Where
I follow Pusha T, so I seen it this morning. But the first bar is "I'm the one that made y'all love it," right? And he talked because he made the jingle "I'm loving it" from
I'm
McDonald's,
loving it.
right?
Oh, I
So
didn't know that.
he said, "I'm the one that
Yeah.
made y'all love it. Now I gotta crush it." So he coming from McDonald's when that's crazy. It was listen when you get a chance, go to Pusha T's Instagram account. It's fire.
He really
Fire.
did like a diss song for he
About
dissed
a
fish fillet heavy.
fish? Was it the fish?
Fish fillet,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Called instead of half a slice of cheese on
Yo.
their
He
fish
said,
fillet.
Mickey D's on the budget. It's like,
Yeah,
Yo,
Yeah, that's
y'all-
crazy.
I advise everybody to listen to that It's a good listen. It's funny. It's crazy, but the bars is real, and that just goes to show you how good Pusha T is, because he
Right.
can literally rhyme about some McDonald's versus Arby's and rip, and y'all be thinking it's better than a lot of songs that's out now.
Still Drake
That's how
all
I
day
feel.
though.
Matter of fact, I put it in the group chat.
Yeah, that's how I heard
Please
it
do
when you
that.
put it this morning.
And also, could you please share Consuela as well? I've been trying to Google it. And,
Consuela is just a Latinx cleaning woman who happens to be of service to us in our homes.
Yes.
That's all. Just a cleaning
all
lady.
Just we got
So-
a cleaning crew that cleans their house.
That's all.
oh, I thought it was like a
Yeah.
type of liquor drink or something.
Oh my god!
I'm like, yo, literally, I put myself on mute. I was like, hey Siri, what is Consuela?
AJ, this is it right here. This is the front. This is the front. This is the front of the pod.
I'm like,
Yo,
because James,
are you
I like
serious?
James do be having like the white henny. I'm like, all right, so what's Consuela? Let me
Yeah, damn, I missed that
the bottles
brand.
of
When that
Consuela.
dropped?
Pizza is this?
What Consuela in your system?
I'm like, it's a fashion brand based out
Ain't no
of
tell me what I dust them, will I clean them?
Yo, but the fact that he said he muted and asked so he could be like he in the know, like
Yo,
I can't be left
Hey,
out.
if AJ looks, he
Siri?
can probably find the video. I literally muted. I was like,
I'm a made by blood.
You came back serious face. So what's Consuela? Like what's
When
that?
Consuela in your system,
That's-
Cleveland had the
I'm
damn
done.
dance and everything.
Word out. He's like, yo, I was looking for it. I'm about to go get
I
some of
was
that.
looking for it. Oh man,
You know,
that's
Consuela the new Nouveau. That's what it is.
I'm
Jesus,
done with Cleveland
wow.
for the day.
funny. Oh man.
Anyway, now that has
Wow.
happened, I just want to close out.
But the
with
name Consuela is from Family
Bars
Guy.
racist. That's why bars racist.
See, that's what it was. I didn't assume that Var was being racist. I assumed that
Thank
it was like
you.
some high
Well,
class.
I'm lying. Black people can't be racist. He's
Right.
prejudiced. Yeah, he's racial, not racist. It was racial. But LeBron has passed Karl Malone. 36,928 points was the over the hill, and he's still killing it. Because as we speaking right now, by the time y'all hear this, y'all would have seen LeBron dunk on Kevin Love so disrespectfully.
Dropped
So
38 and a triple double tonight. Just put that
The
out there.
man is
Did they
killing
win?
it.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, thank
he
you.
broke the curse. He broke the curse. So that's the end of Zone No. Shout out to LeBron James, who graduated class of 2003 high school. You know what I mean? Cleveland, you know about that.
Absolutely.
But
It's crazy.
The
Watch-
year 2003, and we taking off.
Oh, that's the freeway intro.
That was
No,
the
it ain't.
intro.
It was the intro. So yeah, Consuela's from Family Guy. She's the maid on Family Guy.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember that. Family Guy was
No,
good.
I understand it now, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So take us out with the Serenity Prayer.
God, we want to ask you to grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference between Consuela and not.
Consuela, Consuela.